it fades into a deep, resonant silence. My name is Amber, and this is a confession. A confession carved from the darkest, most forbidden corner of my soul. I'm going to tell you about a love that was never mine to feel, a love that bloomed in the silent, empty spaces left by grief, a love that should have withered the moment it was born. This is not a gentle story. It is a story of a heart that betrayed its own keeper. Before him, there was only the quiet, a hollow, echoing quiet that had settled into the very bones of our house, into the very bones of my mother and me. After my father was gone, the world lost its color. It was as if someone had turned down the volume on life itself. My mother, she moved through the rooms like a ghost of the vibrant woman she once was. Her smiles were brave, fragile things that never quite reached her exhausted eyes. And I painted my sorrow. I drowned canvases in storms of gray and oceans of midnight blue, because the words for that kind of pain did not exist. Our little garden, my father's pride, became a grave for forgotten things. The soil hardened, the flowers crumbled to dust. It was a mirror of us, a little sad, a little empty, and waiting, just waiting for an ending that would never come. Then, she brought the light home. I remember the exact moment I saw it return to her eyes. It was a physical shock, a tremor of something I had almost forgotten. Hope. "I met someone," she said, her voice trembling with a girlish fear. "His name is David." And just like that, the quiet was sentenced to death. The man who walked into our lives was not a replacement. He was a revelation. He was tall, with a quiet strength that seemed to calm the very air around him. And his eyes. There was a precise, heartbreaking blue of a sky holding its breath just before dawn. He looked at my mother, and she bloomed under his gaze. She unfurled like a flower desperate for the sun. The house began to breathe again, to fill with the scent of his coffee, the sound of his low, steady voice, the warmth of their shared laughter. I told myself my own heart was just grateful. Grateful for the peace he brought her. Grateful for the way he made the world feel safe again. But gratitude is a quiet stream. What began to stir in me was a riptide. It announced itself in stolen moments, in glances that held a second too long. He fixed my car one rain-slicked afternoon, his hands competent and sure on the cold, stubborn metal. When the engine roared to life, a laugh of pure relief burst from my lips, and I threw my arms around him in a spontaneous, grateful hug. And in that simple, innocent clutch, my world shattered. It was the feeling of home, a solid, unshakable safety I had not felt since my father's strong arms were my shelter. It was the scent of him, clean linen and cedar and something indefinably, uniquely David. I pulled away as if burned, my skin humming, my face aflame. He just smiled, that kind, unknowing smile, and I knew I was in terrible, terrifying danger. The universe began to conspire in its cruel, intimate way. My mother worked late, and David and I found ourselves alone in the soft glow of the living room, united by a love for old black-and-white movies my mother found dull. We shared a blanket. We shared a bowl of popcorn. We shared silence that was more intimate than any conversation. And during a poignant scene, when a single traitorous tear escaped my eye, he saw. Without a word, he handed me a tissue. His fingertips, just the barest whisper of them, brushed against mine. A spark. A lightning bolt of pure, undiluted awareness shot through my veins. My breath caught. I dared to look at him, but his gaze was fixed on the screen, his profile a study in calm. Had he felt it? That electric current in the dark? Or was the chaos mine alone? The conflict became a war waged inside my ribcage. My mind screamed its warnings on a relentless, shame-filled loop. He is your mother's husband. You will destroy her. You are a monster. But my heart, my treacherous, foolish heart, whispered a different, seductive truth. He sees you. He listens to you. He makes the broken pieces inside you feel less sharp. He found me once, in the garage, standing before a canvas splattered with the angry, confused mess of my soul. I was on the verge of tearing it apart. "What do you want to say?" he asked, his voice so soft it was almost part of the shadows. And I told him. I spilled the tangled, artistic yearning I had told no one else. He listened, not as a stepfather humoring a child, but as one artist to another. "Sometimes," he said, his eyes seeing right into the heart of my struggle, "you have to step away to see the picture clearly." He took me for a walk. He told me a story of his own failure, his own frustration, and in his vulnerability, I was lost. Completely, irrevocably lost. The realization did not dawn, it exploded. It was a visceral, sickening punch to my stomach as I stood there, paint-streaked and raw, looking at this kind, beautiful man. I love him. The truth was a poison, sweet and lethal. I loved my stepfather. Not with a daughter's love, but with a woman's desperate, hungry, all-consuming love. The guilt that followed was a physical weight, a stone in my throat, a leaden anchor in my stomach. I became a ghost in my own home. I avoided him with a desperation that was its own confession. I saw the confusion in his eyes, the hurt that clouded those sky-blue depths. My mother saw it too, this new, chilling distance. "You two need to talk," she urged, her face etched with concern for the family she was trying so hard to build. The irony was a blade twisting in my gut. The silence between David and me grew thick and heavy, a third presence in everyone. Room. It finally broke one afternoon with a soft knock on my bedroom door. His voice, filtered through the wood, was laced with the pain I had put there. "Amber, please, did I do something wrong?" I opened the door. He stood there, his shoulders slumped, his eyes searching mine for a crime he could not name. And I looked into the face of the man I loved, and I lied. "No," I whispered, the truth strangling me. It's not you. It's me. It's complicated. You can talk to me, he said, and the sheer, unwavering kindness in his voice was the cruelest torture of all. You can talk to me. But I could not. The words would have been grenades, blowing our fragile world into irreparable shards. I can't, I choked out, closing the door between us, my back sliding against it as my body was racked with silent, hopeless sobs. Emotional, I was drowning in a sea of my own making. The only way out was exile. I told them I needed to leave, to grow up, to find my own space. It was a half-truth wrapped in a full lie. My mother's face fell, but she wrapped it in pride. David, he just looked at me with a profound, quiet understanding that saw too much. This will always be your home, Amber, he said, the words a final, gentle blow. Always. The day I moved out, he was my silent, steady shadow. He carried my boxes, he assembled my furniture, he built the framework of a life without him in it. And with every brush of his hand, every shared glance, my heart cracked a little more. The goodbye was a quiet agony, my mother's tearful, clinging hug, and then him, standing in the empty space of my new, lonely apartment. Be happy, Amber, he said. It was a blessing and a curse. He pulled me into one last brief embrace. 1 second. 1 second where the universe contracted to the feel of his arms, the beat of his heart against mine, the scent of his skin. A lifetime of forbidden longing contained in a single, devastating heartbeat. Then, he let go. And he was gone. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The loneliness was a living thing, a cold companion in that sterile apartment. I painted through the pain. I bled my confusion onto the canvas in great swirling torrents of color and shadow. And slowly, achingly slowly, the furious storm inside me began to still. Distance became my salvation. It gave me clarity. It allowed me to see the love for what it truly was. It was not a wicked, devious thing. It was a lost, grieving girl's cry for the stability and safety she had lost. He was not my destiny. He was a lifeline. And I had mistaken the hand that pulled me from the wreckage for the shore itself. Time passed. The ache became a scar, a tender, remembered place, but not an open wound. I built a life, a simple, uncomplicated life with a kind boy who loved art and made me laugh without making my soul ache with impossible longing. And then, my mother shared her news. Her face was radiant, glowing with a joy so profound it illuminated the entire room. David's hand was clasped tightly in hers. "We're going to have a baby," she whispered, as if speaking a sacred prayer. In that instant, the last hidden shard of my forbidden love, it simply dissolved. It vanished in the blinding, beautiful light of their shared miracle. I looked at David. I saw the pure, unadulterated love and awe in his eyes as he gazed at my mother, his wife, the mother of his child. And my heart, it did not break. It broke open. It opened and poured out the last of its secret poison, and in its place flooded a pure, rushing river of joy for them. Real joy. Unselfish joy. When my brother Leo was born, when I held that tiny, perfect life in my arms, the transformation was complete. Here was the pure, unstained love my heart had been searching for all along. Here was my family, whole, new, and brimming with a future. David is my stepfather. He is my friend. He is the man who helped me find my way back to myself. My love for him is real, but it is a love that has finally, mercifully, found its rightful shape. It is a love of deep respect, of eternal gratitude, of a shared history that is now a foundation, not a prison. I chose my family. I chose my mother's light over the darkness of my own desire. And in that impossible, painful choice, I found a strength I never knew I possessed. I found my freedom. My paintings now, they are full of light. They are full of the brilliant, blinding, beautiful colors of a heart that has weathered a storm and learned to appreciate the calm, clear sky that follows. This was my story. This is my truth. A truth about the wrong love at the right time that led me to the purest love of all, the love for what is truly yours to hold. You can be strong, too. You can survive the forbidden whispers of your own heart. Just choose the light. Always choose the light. The single heartbeat sound returns, slow and steady, before fading to silence.